next, and then we'll be speaking to Pastor Oliver Edwards from Grasslands Church.
That was Mike's Chair, Someone Worth Dying For, and we have Pastor Oliver Edwards, lead pastor of Grasslands Church, in the studio right now. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah, it's good to have you here. You and your wife Cheryl moved to Medicine Hat in May of 2010, I understand, believing that God was calling you to initiate a new church in Medicine Hat. So can you tell us a bit about your calling here and how that all came about?
Well, I'm actually originally from Alberta. I'm from northern Alberta near Edmonton, and I actually went to the coast to go to Bible college, and God gave me a wife down there.
Okay. And now you have a very big family.
Yeah, so that was exciting. But we spent about 10 or 12 years down on the coast, but I'd always had a feeling that God wanted me back in Alberta. And so it took a while for God to prepare us, but He gave us an open door when we had a chance to join up with a church plant down there, and we launched a church in Surrey, BC. And spent 3.5 years as staff there, and then God started saying, you know what, I think it's time for you to head back to Alberta. And so we did some scouting. We looked at research that Church Planting Canada has done on demographics and cities that are growing in Alberta, and we did a tour, and God gave us just complete unity at Medicine Hat was the place He needed us to be. And since we've been here, it's just been more and more confirmed by the people we've met and by the circumstances in the city here.
That's really cool. And you have 6 children, I understand. So you're a busy dad as well as pastor trying to launch this new church. So that's really exciting. So how old are your children?
The oldest is 10, and then I've got Lyndon. The oldest is Dylan, and then Lyndon, who's 7. Actually, no, he's 8 now. Sorry. Aiden is 7. And then Dannon is 3. And our twins, who came last, they're just turned 2 years old in July. So.
Well, you're busy. So what does your wife do? Is she a stay-at-home mom? Or?
She used to be.
Now she's a...
Actually, just this year, we were really blessed. She had an opportunity to move into a job over at the Medicine Hat Hospital as a nursing educator there.
Oh, that's neat.
So she works 3 days a week there, and I get to be Mr. Mom for 3 days a week. So that's all right.
That's cool. That's really cool. So this is the 4th Grassland Church to be planted in Canada, and you're affiliated with Grace Brethren Churches, and can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, Grace Brethren Canada is a Canadian branch of the Fellowship of Grace Brethren Churches, which is an international organization. It's all around the world. There's about 300 churches in the United States. There's about 3,000 churches in the rest of the world, especially in the Central African Republic. Their mission has been very successful there. But basically just a fellowship of churches that are not really denominational in that sense. They're pretty independent, but they're united by their belief in the Bible, the whole Bible, and nothing but the Bible is how they put it.
Pretty infallible truth right there. Hey?
Yeah, so we stick to that, but it's a fantastic group. It's really about relationships both between churches and individuals, and that's really our passion. And that was demonstrated by actually in August we actually had an opportunity to see associated churches in the United States who believe in us and believe what we're doing sent about 40 people up here to Medicine Hat to help us just bless the city.
Wow,
and
that's
then 2
amazing.
weeks later, all our Canadian churches got together, and people paid hundreds and hundreds of dollars to fly here from all over Canada to help get this church launched. So it's very exciting to have those kind of relationships.
Very exciting. Well, we're going to come back and talk about your grand opening, which happens this Sunday at 10:15. Is that correct?
That's right, 10:15 a.m. at the Galaxy Cinemas at the mall there. So.
Okay, we'll come back and talk about that right after Michael W. Smith, Come to the Cross. That was Michael W. Smith with Come to the Cross, and we have Pastor Oliver Edwards in the studio right now talking about the grand opening of Grasslands Church this coming weekend. Can you fill us in a bit about what the plan is for this Sunday? And you have already been having some services over at the theater, and let us know what's going on this Sunday.
Yeah, well, we're going to be starting at 10:15 a.m. That way you can kind of crawl out of bed and get in your car at 10 o'clock and still get there on time. We're going to be starting at 10:15. It's the service runs until about 11:30. We need to be because of the constraints of being in a movie theater, and they need to actually make money and stuff like that. So we need to be out by 12 o'clock. So it's going to be a relatively short service, but I know that we're going to have a good time. And Pastor Bart Blair is going to be leading us in some music there. And we're going to have a lot of fun with that. And, just in case we do get a lot of people, we're actually planning to have an overflow theater where we're actually going to project the music and the message into that theater as well, in case there's not enough room, because the biggest theater there is only about 200 seats. So.
Okay. And you were telling me when we were off the air that Pastor Bart had an amazing calling to Medicine Hat as well. He just called you up and said that he was meant to come here, so that's kind of neat.
He's an interesting guy, yeah. He was the worship pastor for our flagship church out in Mississauga. Mississauga, Ontario for 9 years, and just a fantastic guy, incredibly talented and incredibly gifted in ministry there. And from there, basically, he just reached, I almost don't like telling his story because he tells it so much better, but he said it reached a point where he just knew that whatever it was that God had asked him to do there, he had completed. And so he started looking around for a new place, a new challenge, and something else. And then he didn't really feel right about leaving Canada. He didn't feel right about moving on to a different church. And then God kind of pointed out to him that, hey, we're out here in Medicine Hat and we're trying to start something new. And so he came out that summer, actually a few months after we arrived, and with his wife, and explored the city and just fell in love with it just like we did. So we're really excited to have him on the team. He just does so much for our team, obviously, worship skills. He's also an incredibly organized individual. It's kind of like I'm the vision guy, and he's the guy who puts all the dots in the I's and the crosses and the T's there. So
yeah, and you're the teacher.
That's right. Yeah, I'll be doing most of the speaking, but he does most of the singing. So
well,
and that's probably a good thing.
It sounds like we're going to have an amazing community church in Medicine Hat, another one, and we wish you all the best and hope that everything goes really well this Sunday and henceforth. And keep us posted how things are going.
Absolutely.
And we'd love to have Pastor Bart in sometime and talk to him about his calling to Medicine Hat as well.
That would be fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you for coming in, Pastor Edwards.
Thanks.
We'll talk to you again. Shane and Shane with The One You Need coming up after the break.
If you're facing a tough challenge,